Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lili Nishmasi Mimorossi Ruspas Mordechai. Breakfast is sponsored by Nochem and Shoshana. Let's just go with Shosh. Nochem is how? Shosh, not Shosh. What are you hockey? Shoshana. Cats celebrating the birth of a great grandson to Shlomo Zalman and Chagit Kuberman, the famous Shlomo Kuberman from Mishpacha magazine. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I owe my cars a Tov. You did a beautiful article on MDY right in the beginning of MDY in Hebrew. Muncie last night in Havas Yitzchok. So that was 2 nights ago. There was 14 people at the live, and tonight, Thursday night, was up to 19 chevra. Kain Yirbu, wow, it's beautiful. Looks like a bunch of geschmacky guys over there. Flora MDY, Rabbi Yaakov Cohen doing the daf at Vinishmartim. It's a gym. Otherwise, this is a Cleveland Siyum, and check this out. Perhaps the oldest MDYer, 99-year-old Zev Shapsai Safran, his son Yisrael Safran, 98 3/4. Eli's oldest talmid. He's giving a bracha. He's a kohen.
God Shalom should give you everything that you desire for many years.
I want to extend a bruchim haboim. I see a lot of Hasidim here. I'm sure they're here, came for Yontif, to be with the Rebbe. So if you want to say your name, Shalom Aleichem. We'll start over here. What's your name? From? Brooklyn, New York. Your name? Lakewood. We're going to go to that side. Shalom Aleichem. Wie heißt die? Borough Park. Also, son and grandson, three generations. You're all like, you're guilty. Okay, Givaldik. Who else? I saw some people walking in all the way at the end. You were here yesterday. Oh, you in the corner. What? 5. I know, but I'm blocked. I can't. Okay, now, thank you. You're Rabbi Feig from? Monsin. Next to you? From? Borough Park. Shalom Aleichem Chevre. Okay. In Hebrew, Deir Beli Shlita. I'm sure many people are very excited with this new feature. Just the daf, but a lot of people have been asking, where's just the emails and jokes? Ksiva Chasim Toiva, Eliyahu Salam, London. Rabbi Isai, I had a phone call yesterday with Joe Esses from the tri-state area. So he told me on the phone his wife gave birth to, I think, a baby girl like 3 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know what it was. A baby. Just this past week, within the week, his 2-year-old was Nifter. Nifteris. He found her. But what shocked me, I heard this from a bunch of people. I'm sharing this on the screen. This is his WhatsApp that went out to people during the Shiva, right after the Levaya. They just started Mesechet Zevachim in the Daf Yomi cycle. Passing along in case anyone wants to join in memory of my daughter, Bracha Silia Bat Sima Alea Shalom. Simcha. You believe this? This is what he's thinking about right after the Levaya. He wants to get schusim for his daughter, so he posts this. Unbelievable.
Rabbi Eli, Shalom Aleichem. I'm here at the Aguda headquarters. They're having a charity event, and I met. What's your name again?
Moshe Simcha Levine.
And he says, "Oh, I know you because I haven't missed a day since."
Since the beginning of Sanhedrin.
Wow. So tell me,
right after the Shabbaton.
So how do you come to the Daf?
Listen, I have to tell you. I'll make it very quick. I'm the director of development over here. I've been slogging it out here. Yesterday I was here about 15 hours straight. On my way home, an hour back to Monsey, I listened to the Shia, the first daf on Zevachim. It was an epic daf. I've never learned that in my life with Korbanos. It was an unbelievable thing. And we were talking about, changing life. And I was thinking to myself, has it changed my life? And I was thinking that, has it changed my life? I came out of 14 hours of work and I spent the whole time doing the daf on the way home. It was a break, it was unbelievable, I enjoyed this year. And then not only that, I was going to go straight home because I was exhausted, and I said if I did the daf, I'm going to go to Mariv now, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow, mitzvah grace,
and I realized I have 5 more minutes of the Shia, so I needed the extra time.
Chazak.
Thank you for changing my life.
I
Keep it
love
up.
Beautiful.
Oh, Rebbe, I don't mean to brag, but I've already been not talking during Kaddish since you brought it up a couple of years ago. I was touched. Look, so you bring it up. Some people, they chapped. Not everybody realizes the Isser, the Chumrah. I was touched back then and moved by it now when you brought it up these past few days. So I made a poll on the MDY Muncie, New Jersey chat. And so far we locked in 25. Look at this. 21. 21. I'll do my best not to talk during Kaddish this year. 21 people checked in there, making an initiative. So far we locked in 21 billion neders to take this on. Shnai Mikro was not as popular on the poll. One. Maybe they're doing it already. We'll get everyone eventually. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step. Aksiv Chasim Toivi, Talmud and Chassid, Dov Eisenberger, Englewood, New Jersey. Beautiful. Yishkoich for taking this on. So proud that my 2 amazing sons, Josh, we all know Josh, he comes here every morning, sometimes after Shir, does the daf. I love this. This means a lot. How do they celebrate their father who does the daf with us, his birthday? They make a siyum by his birthday. Joint Siyum on Hoirius. Thanks to Reb Eli and everyone at MDY for your help in completing another Masechta. Hope to see you on the cruise. Emir Hashem, Yosef Schreiber, Ranana, the father, has been with us since at least Bracha. Siyum Seder Nezikin, Dafaholics Anonymous, Ramah Gimel. Here, I did this because this is a compliment to our editor. Yeah, Rabbi said that's Eitan G walking in now. So I want to say something. I saw him when I was walking up here, which was 8 minutes ago. I saw him driving away from the Beis Medrash. Save yourself that 8 minutes. Just park in the beginning of the block. There's a parking lot over there, and you'll be here on time. You won't have to move chairs around. Everything's givaldic.
Ariel, I was watching the share today. The emotion, the editing. You blew my mind. You darkened the screen, the mood. You made sure everyone was heard. The angles, the way you did it to the beat, to the mood. I know the people build it up, but you built it up so beautifully. I just sat here and I learned the daf, and I was in it. Aiti b'shamayim. I loved it. Just continue what you're doing. I know Shimmy's holding the phone, so none of this is AI. But we love what you do. We love your work. Please keep it up. Thank you so much for all you do.
Rabbi Isai, the amount of work that the editors put in, the chachma that goes behind it, so yishkach to all the editors. The Masechta is sponsored by David Salomon, dedicated memory of Imoyer, Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi Zechron Lebracha. Masechta is sponsored anonymous, Nishmas Doi Shlomo Yehuda Zechron Lebracha Shmuel Chaim, Asher Shokat V'Lomad Kotshim Kol Chayov. Anonymous, the Schus Refor Shlomo Nochem Tzvi ben Yenta. Sponsored by Skybrook Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki, and Shamshi Shlavrik for the devotion, the Torah study, and the Shir. Joel Gedalius, Lil Nishmas, my father, Jack Gedalius, Anonymous, Hatzlacha Baruchnis, Ubegashmias. Coil sponsors monthly, Anonymous from London, Hatzlacha in Business. They, Elimelech Schoenfeld, because Torah is the best segula. Monthly sponsors TCS Israel, powered by Talking Sev, Aaron Kessler, in honor of the marriage of my son and my daughter, and my relocating to Eden Gardens in Orlando, Florida. Anonymous from London, Hatzlacha B'Parnasa, Yuda Loshinsky, in honor of my father's 6th cycle of the daf. Your big heart in giving to the community is an inspiration for all of us. Weekly sponsors Anonymous, in honor of our new Mesifta Bachar Akiva 10 stars, Simon, who is unstoppable in the daf. Anonymous, Baruch Roifei Choilim. Daily sponsors Anonymous, L'zech Nishmas, Rav Avrom Nisano ben Rav Shloimo, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Or Yisrael in Flatbush. Shlomo should have an aliyah. Anonymous, success for my wife, beautiful. Anonymous, a schus for my son, Shmuel Menachem ben Riva Gittel. Schus for my son. Daily sponsors, Anonymous, L'zech Nishmas, Naftali Hertz, Ben Harav Menashe, Esther Malka Bas, Shmuel Aaron. The neshamas should have an aliyah. Anonymous, L'zchus, SR Bas LM. A real anonymous. MDY Art, monthly, Refor Shlema, Yonatan Eitam, Ben Bashar Bracha. I want to say it in the middle share, but I see his name here. I want to apologize to him and to the Chaver because I told him I'll really try to be there by the Achros Sefer Torah, which he made yesterday. He made a Sefer Torah for him, L'schus Rufuasai, and I really wanted to go. And I forgot that it's that day, and I realized it's going to take a good hour out of my day, whatever it takes to go and come until you're right. And I was smacking middle preparing the Hebrew shir, the shir today, and I had to make a decision. So I apologize. L'rufuas hayeled Daniel Zev ben Ayelet Esther.
Give that schus to him.
What?
Schus ta'im.
The Torah that I was learning then. Yeah, but okay. That's obvious. That's obvious. I hope he's not hurt by me. Okay, Zok Tehele Gemara.
Finish the last
What?
one. Finish the last one.
The last one, L'rufuas Shleima Mordechai ben Esther. All right. So yesterday we learned that you need to have the right intent for the right owner. If Reuven brings a carbon, the kohen cannot think that he's bringing a carbon for Shimon. It ruins it. And we brought this nazar, El nazar, the ram that a nazar brings. Shar shlamim minolan. Ashkechan el nazir shar shlamim minolan. Okay, very good. You see by the ram of the nazir, you have to have the right intent. Very good. But how do you know other karbanos? And let's start off with shlamim. Other shlamim. This is a shlamim that this nazir brings. What about other shlamim? V'chiteima. And if you'll say neilef meil nazir, it's obvious. If the ram, you have to have intent. So too, the other shlamim in the world. Take a look. A nazir has to bring 3 different karbanos, a chatas, a oil, and a shlamim. So he's a chomer thing. Anytime you have something that's extreme, and anytime you have something that's more than usual, then you can't learn from it. Since he has to bring 3 karbanos, you can't learn another carbon from it. Says the Gemara, okay. But over there it says, Imkein nichtoiv. By me, it says shlamov. Notice in other Gemaras it says shalmei. Shlamov is like the improved version of shalmei. Shlamov means his karbanos, the carbon of the nazir. It doesn't say his. It says a very general lashon. My shlamim. Seems like the Torah is talking about all shlamim. The rabbis call shlamim. That comes to include all shlamim. All shlamim, you have to have the right intent. Ask the Gemara, Ashken shlamim shar kol kachim and alan. Great. So now I went from the ram of the nazir to all shlamim. What about other karbanos? What about a noila? Shar kol kachim and alan. And if you'll say you shall learn all karbanos from shlamim, just like shlamim, you have to have the right intent of the owner. So to an oila, chatas, whatever. No, I'll tell you, shlamim is different. Why is shlamim more severe than other karbanos? Malish shlamim shekain tu'unin. You need 3 things together that other karbanos don't have these 3. Some of them have 1, some of them 2, but no carbon in the world has these 3. What are the 3 things? Do me a favor, can you get me that mizbeach up there? Thank you. Shekain tu'unim smicha. You need to lean on the animal. Unesachim, and you need to pour the wine on the mizbeach. Utnufas chaz v'shaik. You have to wave the breast and the thigh. Let me show you some of them at least. Thank you very much. What's the first one? Smicha. We got a new smicha for today. You don't like this humor, you can blame me. Smicha is to put your body weight on the animal. Tanufa. Now, this is a trick question. Do not circulate this picture because there are 2 problems with this picture. We will fix, but it was very hard. He worked until 1:30 showing me I was trying to fix it. Very hard to fix. Well, let me show you what it does. Tanufa means to wave these 2 parts of the animal. And in fact, we learn lulav, that we shake a lulav in all 6 directions from Tanufa. So what's the problem with this picture? You're supposed to have 2 people doing it. That's not the problem. Huh? What do you say? The plate is a problem, and the hands is a problem. 2 problems. First of all, there's no plate. Second of all, the Yisrael, the owner, puts his hands under the kohen. The kohen puts the pieces on his hand, and the Yisrael's hands are underneath.
Where do they do this? Which part of them is
Okay,
what? But the claim?
in a part that the Yisrael
go
can do.
out?
Yeah.
The Yisrael's let it go into certain areas.
They go
Certain areas of the Azara.
For his avoid, he's letting go certain areas.
So
For time is already.
we'll get there. We'll learn it. Akopanim, there's something called tenufa that no other carbon has. No other carbon has tenufa besides the shlamim. And then what else do we have? Nesachim. So Nesachim, I don't know, Gary. No, I showed these two holes.
on the bottom.
No. This is different. This is different. On top of the mizbeach, there's two holes right over here. It's a good thing I'm showing it then. Right over here, there's two holes. One is for the wine. Good. Focus. Very good. See the two holes here? In one of them you pour the wine for certain karbanas, and one of them you pour the water that's on sukkahs. So you can't learn from something that has all these things together. Ela Makro, once again, Zevachim style. Zois HaTorah. This is the halacha, la'oila, la'mincha, v'la'chatas, v'la'asham, v'la'miluim, v'la'zevach ha'shlamim. We're going to learn all these karbanas from what? From the shlamim. Hikishan ha'kasav l'shlamim, all karbanas are similar to shlamim. We just established that shlamim, you have to have the right intent for the owner. You can't think about another owner. Ma'shlamim ben chinu kodesh, ben chinu ba'alim, b'ina l'shma. You cannot flip a shlamim to oila. That's Shinu Kodesh. You cannot flip Reuven to Shimon, that's Shinu Bailam. Avkol, Ben Shinu Kodesh, Ben Shinu Bailam, by Shlamim. Just like we learn by Shlamim, so too other karbanas. Be'in on Lishma, you'll need all karbanas, you need the Lishma in both things. You can't flip a carbon, can't flip the owner. Let me show you this little video, because when do we say this pasuk? By Caucasian for Ashkenazim. Shlamim, we learn everybody from Shlamim, right? Okay, the Shlamim is the boss over here in this pasuk. We learn. Now I don't want to show you this video again, so you have to remember this. We learn all the karbanas from Shlamim. Okay. This was okay or not okay? This yeah, but the dive not. Okay. I've called Bein Shinu Kodesh Ben Shinu Bailim Be'in L'Shma. I want to remind the Olam, this is important. You could still bring a friend to Zevachim. It's not too late. Especially the new guys, especially people that haven't been to the shir, and this is their third, fourth day. Tell your friends about it. You get them on. So what if you miss the first 2-3 daf? Look how much is left. And to Shas, another 500 something daf left to Shas. Let's go. We'll do all of Kachim minus the 2 skitzer. Oh.
Tell them there's parking.
What's yours? What's going on? Los Angeles, Shalom Aleichem, Los Angeles. Snapple. You got something, you come there, he has Gemara, I don't know what he's showing. Cake. Kogel and Shalom. It's Thursday night, that's right. Givaldik. The guys on the left, they went to the other place. What is it called? What's it called? Pico. No, what's the other thing, the program? Mishmar. They went to Mishmar. Yeah. Competing with Mishmar. Okay, Zokti Gemara. Ema. We just established, Rabbi say you need l'shma, this psukim that tell you have to have intent. So what does that typically tell me? If the pasuk says you have to have intent, and you don't have intent, what's going to happen? It should be possible. Why is it that in our Mishnah, it says in the Mishnah, if I can find it here somewhere, what's the first Mishnah we learned? If you don't have the right intent, Ksherim. Why kosher? The pasuk says it's possible. The pasuk doesn't say it's possible. It says you have to have intent. If you don't have intent, l'chayr it should be possible, not kosher. This is for the third, fourth time, and today we're going to have it another time or two. It says in the pasuk you should keep the words of your mouth. What you made a neder for. And then the pasuk finishes off nidava. As the Gemara, hay nidava nederu. What are you talking about? Didn't we say here? I'll just remind you in case you don't remember. Here, it's neder. Neder means harei alai. You are chayiv whether or not the carbon dies. Hay nidava nederu. Why are you telling me it's a nidava? Which means you don't have to replace that carbon. It's a neder. Ella. If you did what you promised, meaning you had the right kavanah, the right lishma, it's going to be a neder. If you didn't have the right kavanah, yahin nedava, continue bringing it. It's not possible. Continue bringing it as a nedava. You just have to bring another one. Says the Gemara. Okay, so I learned really from the pasuk of moitzes sifosecha that you continue bringing it. It's still kosher. Vitzrich moitzes sifosecha, vitzrich zeisatayra. So if the pasuk tells me that I continue bringing it, then what do I learn from Zeis HaTorah that says that all the animals are equal? All the karbanos are equal to the shlamim. Yeah, this thing with that whole. Maybe we should start over here. This one. We learn two things here, says the Gemara. If I would just say the pasuk Moises Vasecha that if you don't have the right kavana, you should continue bringing the carbon. So the Gemara.
I think what the Gemara is asking from is that we see from that al-Chachila you do need Lishma. So why do you need that pasuk and Zos HaTorah to tell you al-Chachila you need Lishma?
Again, from what?
That we see from the fact that it says Moses Vasecha Tishra Vasisa, you need Lishma al-Chachila. So why do we need that pasuk? And
If I learn from Moses Vasecha that you need Lishma, then why do I need the whole shlamim thing? That everything is.
now we're telling us that
And what?
L'chachila you
Okay. That you're saying the word lechatchila. Lechatchila you need Lishma.
Right. That's right.
Well, and if you take off the word lechatchila, you need Lishma. We know that Lishma, if you don't do Lishma, it's kosher.
Right,
You need Lishma, okay.
The fact that you can keep going
Fine.
isn't the nikud that the Gemara is
You see, for Moises Vasecha, you keep on going. So then what am I learning from the pasuk that says that all the karbanos are equal? So very simple. It doesn't say anywhere in the pasuk in Moises Vasecha that we're talking about a lishma. That's like a jump. Says the Gemara, Liyoda b'mai kazer rachmana. I'm sorry. Di kazer rachmana moitza liyoda b'mai. I wouldn't know what we're talking about. I don't know that we're talking about a lishma, not a lishma. Kazer rachmana is Zeis HaTorah. That we learn from, we know that shlamim needs lishma. And we learn that all the karbanos are similar to shlamim. So you need lishma, you have to think about the owner, you have to think about the right carbon in all karbanos. Because of Rachmana Zeis HaTorah, okay, so I'll just have the Zeis HaTorah like we started the sugya. Havamina li paslu, but in that pasuk it doesn't say whether or not it's kosher or not. L'chayra, it should not be kosher. If the Torah tells you to do something and you don't do it, so it's not kosher. It's a big chiddush. So the combination of the two, we have a pasuk that talks about the Shema, so to speak, the pasuk of Kakeli. That pasuk teaches us that you need Lishma. But we have another pasuk that tells us that if you don't have that Lishma, it's still kosher. So that's why I need the combination of the two. Rami Rish Lakish al Mahai. So right over here, this is Gishmak. Super interesting. It says that Rish Lakish was laying on his stomach and asking questions in the Beis Medrash. Beis Midrash. So, I'm focusing on the Mahai. Yeah. I'm going to get to the Beis Midrash. Actually, laying on his stomach. I'm just picturing this. Galadar. The Gemara says he was a little overweight, as we're going to see. Not real here, but I'm going to talk about it. Rish Lakish, he's lying on his stomach. So everybody discusses this thing. Are you allowed to lay on your stomach? You're not supposed to go to sleep on your stomach or on your back. You're supposed to go to sleep on your side. It's called praktan. The Gemara talks about it. It's not proper to the Rebbeinu Shloim. Also, it can be embarrassing. V'chulu. So how did he do this? So, Reb Gedalia Nadal, who's one of the biggest Talmidim of the Chazon Ish, he was also a contractor. He used to make wine, but he's a big Talmid Chacham. He said that he heard from the Chazon Ish that you're not allowed to lay on your stomach, even temporarily, even if you're learning, even if you're just hanging out in bed. So Rabbi Yamin Silber wrote the Oznidber. He writes over there. He writes in Oznidber. You see from here they can't trust anything that people say in the name of the Chazon Ish, even if chashuv people like Rabbi Gedalia Nadal say it. He says it's impossible. From the Gemara over here, you see the Rish Lakish laid on his stomach. It goes into it, and there's a whole back and forth. One thing I do want to point out, it's very interesting, that we learned in Gittin, Amalei Brate. Rish Lakish's daughter tells Rish Lakish, you don't need a mattress, you want to lay on something? Amar La Biti, crazy kari. My stomach is my pillow. Had a nice stomach, that was his pillow. And just derech aga, because it's the continuation, I just throw it in there. When Rish Lakish died, Shava Kabed Marika. What did he leave for Yerusha? A little bowl of vegetables. That's the whole Yerusha. Koran Nafshei. And he said, for that, why work 1 extra minute to leave $1 extra to my kids? What did the guy say? Peel. Me and Avi were walking with a great guy, a Ger Chassid in Austria, and he says, I learned the musig of pil. Pachot Yerusha le'iladim. Why give it to the? Why work hard and give it to the kids? Then they work hard and they whatever. Kids. Yeah. Now the Chazon Ish himself, it says in all the books written about the Chazon Ish, but I found it in Maisa Ish Chelik Beis Amud Samach Gimel. This used to be like the book in the Chazon Ish, and the Archer one. I read it when I was 15. It made a tremendous impression on me, and the way his asmada and his anava, the whole thing. So it says, first of all, he was not a well person. So most of his life he learned laying down. And it says a story over there. Some Talmid Chacham came to visit him, and he walks in. He thought that the Chaver Kedisha wrapped him, because he was wrapped from head to toe. Everything was wrapped. And then the Chazon Ish pops out, and he says, I apologize. I was writing a Chiddush, but I wanted to have full concentration, zero blockage, just complete. So I covered my whole head with, but he's in a laying position. Anyways, the point is, something like Rish Lakish, whether it was for health reasons or not, so the Achronim said, the bottom line is what I got from the Achronim, and then you should ask your local rabbi. If you're tired and you can learn better in a laying position, you can learn. L'chatchila is not the best because it's not respectful. But if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. The Gemara is saying it for a reason. Oh, why does he want to say Almai? Say, Rish Lakish asked the question. What do I care if it's on the stomach? You have to learn from these things. So says the Gemara, Rami Rish Lakish Almahoi Be Midrash Makshi. He's in the base medrash, on his stomach, on the floor, asking questions. What was his question? And we're going to be dealing with this question for most of today's daf. What's going on with this carbon? We have to understand, if this carbon is a good carbon, so why doesn't it bring a kapara to the owner? And if it doesn't bring a kapara to the owner, what's the point of bringing it? Omar Loi. So this Omar Loi Rebbe Lazar. I think the Gir says Rebbe Lazar over here. Whatever, Lazar. What is your big question? I'll give you another example of something that you bring as a carbon and it does zero for the original owner, the snan. A woman, she gives birth, so she has to bring 2 karbanos. She has to bring a chatas, which is a bird, and she has to bring a sheep as an oila. And she died. She died in between the 2 karbanos. So it depends which one she brought first. If she brought the chatas first, so you're permitted to bring the oila after she dies. That's his raya. Why would you bring the oila? What's the point? She's dead. So you see that even though it's not a good oil, you just continue bringing it. That's a whole thing that we'll see. Here's one of the times we'll see it, that there is a kapara for a person after he dies. The Shulchan Aruch says that you give money for yiskar, for the neshama. What good is it? It does good. Could a neshama get a kapara? So we learned in Hayri, a very interesting thing, things that we do today by the egel, for the egel arufa, is a kapara for the yotzim mitzrayim. Neshama, it's dead already. What are you doing? How can you do tshuva? And okay, we saw certain things. When does it work? When it doesn't work? I don't know exactly. But here's another thing. But here's the problem. If she brought the oila first and then she died, could you bring a chatas after she dies? No. It's one of the 5 chatais that must die. So I asked Yoshi, I told him to do a certain thing. It came out, I love this, personally. All I remember is Dr. Epstein not liking this idea so much, that if a chatas, the owner dies, what do you do to it? Here, I'm going to show you a video. We'll make it as nice as possible, but it's a nice video, I think. At the end of the day, it's...
Sorry, buddy. You're a chatos shemesa bailov.
No food and drink, it says in there.
אנחנו כולם זוכרים את הסבר פונים יפויס והאכפתיות והמידות טויבויס והשמיים של חברינו.
Dr. Epstein, is it a little bit better? You like it? That you like. See, it worked. It worked. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Just to take off the edge of this. So what did we just see? That if the owner dies, okay, that was a little gruesome, a little bit much. That was the bad part. Plane went down, and the chatas survives. The chatas is alive. Can't bring it. Nothing to do with it. Put it in a room, and there's a levaya afterwards. So that's why if she brings the oila first, the chatas is not brought. But if she brings the chatas first, what's left in oila? Oila you could bring after she dies. But they're proving from here. They answered Rish Lakish. There is such a thing as a carbon that doesn't accomplish a kapara, yet you bring it. It's not Oisha Shavia Chatas Vamesa. You be Yoshim Elasa. Elasa Vamesa. Levi Yoshim Chatas. Amarle. He says great raya, but that doesn't answer my question. Oh. Okay. I'll say this mice a different time. It's a great mice. You're right. That's a woman who didn't bring the oila. I can bring it. That's ilachar misa. Asham. So this is his. Let's remember this part of the question. Asham doesn't come lachar misa. Asham comes for an avera, and if a person dies, you don't bring it. So the actual asham, as we're going to see later, what we do with it exactly. But the actual asham doesn't come. So why is it that if you have a carbon asham, and the Kayan thought about that this is for Shimon, or this is Shlamim instead of a asham, why would you continue bringing the asham? Ayla makes sense because an ayla comes after the death of the owner, so bring it, continue bringing it. But an asham that doesn't come after the death of the owner, so if the Kayan messes up with intent, what's the point of bringing it? Where do you see that you bring an asham that doesn't come for a kapara? Amalei. So they told him, "Harei machlukutcha betzidai." You're right, great. What you're saying is a very good point, and that's the shita Rebbe Lezer Oimer Afa Asham. That's the shita of Rebbe Lezer. That's why they're probably not Goris Rebbe Lezer, and they say Rebbe Lezer. I just realized now. So Rebbe Lezer is saying Rebbe Lezer, and the Mishnah says Afa Asham. You're right. Even the Asham is puzzle. And you're asking me why Asham should continue? It doesn't continue according to Rebbe Eliezer. You're perfect. You're like Rebbe Eliezer. Amar, Zeu Shoimer Malav Adam Gadalu. So he says one of the famous shtochs in Shas. A lot of times in Shas, or very, very sharp lashon. This is a person they say is a gadol. Kamina no Mishnah is shlema. I'm talking about the Tanakama, a real Mishnah. But obviously Rebbe Eliezer, and you're telling me Rebbe Eliezer. I'm not talking. Good. So there's a shita. I'm asking you, why does the Tanakama say that the asham should continue and pretend nothing happened, and the Kohen should continue bringing it as a carbon? Where do we find that a carbon that doesn't come after the death of the owner should continue? As a side note, there's a bacher in yeshiva. I don't like the whole story. Whatever, you can change whatever part you want, but there's an idea here. There's a bacher, the way I heard the story, there's a bacher in the yeshiva, and he's a big bagaiva, one of these guys, a snob, a real snob. Reb Chatzkel Levenstein didn't like him at all. Didn't want to talk to this guy. He felt that there's not much he could do over here. One day, Reb Chatzkel was walking with like a heavy box, and this bacher comes running over and grabs the box from Reb Chatzkel and brings it to the yeshiva. So Reb Chatzkel tells the bacher, you know, you did me a favor, I owe you hakar satayv. The way you're acting now is disgusting. Nothing will ever come out of you if you don't change your ways. I'm telling you, change the way you're acting. The bacher got all, shooken up. So I just helped him with the box, and he took it to heart. And the point of the story is that Reb Chatzkel felt that if you just come over to him randomly one day and says, you are a terrible guy, nothing will happen. The bacher realized that he's being serious. He owes him a favor, and what's his favor that he's giving back? A piece of musar. So he took it seriously. It was a real musar. I'm just sticking it in because this is what you're saying. This is what you're calling something that will really hurt somebody. Why? How? Something the shots you see it, especially with Amoraim. So, Elo Amar Rish Lakish. You know what says Rish Lakish? You guys are not helping me out. Let me figure it out myself. Let me figure this out. I'll open up. I'll come up with a solution by myself. I forgot to mention. Even though I put it in my Gemara, but I didn't have a sticker, and I put an arrow. Forgot to tell you. The whole sugya, says Rashi, Rish Lakish didn't know about our answer that we said on Amud Beis about the pasuk of Moises Sefasecha Tishmor V'Asisa. That's why I asked. It's a pasuk that you continue. You just continue. Asham, this. We said together with Kokeli. What? I don't know. I guess not. It wasn't so famous, the pshat. And he comes up with the pshat. Moises Sefasecha. And he asks the question. Hai nedava, nederu. You start off with the neder. Why you tell me it's in the dava rezu? Kidalel. Like we said, pshat, and that's what you learn from Moises Sefasecha. You start off with the neder. Try to have the kavana. If you don't have the kavana, then it flips into a nedava. But continue bringing it. All these people, Reb Zera, Reb Yitzchak, and the Rebbe was sitting around. They were saying, so we're going to have here in this sugi like three of these, all talking about Rish Lakish. It's very unique that they're all sitting and discussing Rish Lakish. Asham. Rish Lakish has a question. How does it make sense that Asham, you cannot bring it as a forgiveness after the death of the owner? And so how do you bring it? How do you continue bringing it? It's like the death of the owner is like no lishma. And the Gemara answers, he answers, you see, it's a pasuk that you could. Ema. So they asked, what are you learning from the pasuk? What is Moises? Neder nedava. It says in the Torah, neder nedava. Something like a taida, something like a oila. That's a neder. That's a nedava. I'm giving it not because I did an aver, because I want to do something for the Rebbe Shalom. I want to bring a carbon. I want to get close to Hashem. Maybe that you should continue bringing, and it doesn't accomplish what it's supposed to set out to accomplish. But a asham that comes from an avera that's not in the pasuk of Moises Sefasecha, lo leisi klal. Maybe you shouldn't bring it at all. Says Abai, I don't know how Abai got to this, but Abai says you Pasha didn't understand. You missed the whole boat. Rish Lakish does bring the pasuk of Moises Sefasecha, but for something else completely. He starts out with a different pasuk. That's his raya. Here. In the pasuk of Chatos says the word v'shachat oisa, which is an exclusion, and it says oisa l'shma kshera, shaloi l'shma psula. Only a Chatos has a major problem, an obstacle you can't continue to. That's what the Mishnah says. There's two animals, two karbanas that you don't continue with. What are the two animals you don't continue with? A Chatos and what else, Rabbi say? Korban Pesach. Why? Because the Torah says by it, oisa. From this pasuk I learned that all other korbanos are fine. Continue. So then why did Rish Lakish bring the pasuk Moises Sefasecha Tishmor? I don't know how Abai jumped to this pasuk. Like who mentioned it at all? Hashar Kachim, Shalei Lishmon, Sherim. Even though Asham, if you don't have Lishma, even though Asham is very similar to a Chatos, but it's not a Asham. It's not a Chatos. Kosher. So this is why Rish Lakish brought this pasuk. Maybe it should come to. It would even give a kapara to the owner, and he won't have to bring another carbon. No, it drops down a level. It goes from a nether to nedava. You continue bringing it, but you must replace it. Okay, bring it. Maybe the pasuk is talking about a neder and a nedava. Bring it. No kapara. Asham artzui nami lirtze. Maybe when it's a asham, this is like a real, like a fakert, like a afuch al afuch. Maybe the asham should not only you should bring it, but the guy will get a kapara. Amar Abayo. He says that that's impossible. Asham de miratzi lemotzis armors. He can't say that an asham is going to get a kapara. Why? Kavachaymer ma'oila. Because they have a kavachaymer from an oila. Uma oila sheidim chaperes ein miratza. Listen to this. This is very, very simple kavachaymer. Oila. What does oila accomplish? 10%. Let's call it 10%. Shalom aleichem. 10%. Oila. It doesn't do a lot. It does very little. It doesn't get rid of your averis. We're going to see. It gets rid of some of your mitzvahs, your assays, when you're over an assay. But a asha, and nevertheless, what do I say? No, it's not miratza. You have to bring another one. So something that does 100%, certainly it shouldn't work. If the 10% guy, the guy that does very little, and it doesn't work, I have to replace it. So a guy that wants to do much more than 10%, wants to do 100%, and be mechaper all your averis, certainly it shouldn't work. Yeah, you hear that? So let me just show you real quickly. Yoshi did a phenomenal job here. I think it's very gishmak. I want to learn asham from an oila. Asham is, for an avera, he's a bad guy. And say that what? He's not miratza. So the Gemara says you can't learn an asham and that what? Just like asham is mechaper and oila is not miratza. Another, what is not miratza? It doesn't accomplish what it set out to do. You have to replace it, bring another oila. So too an asham. So the Gemara, no, I can't learn because the oila has something special. You burn the entire animal on the mizbech. It's very chomer. Can't learn anything out of it. Says the Gemara, yeah, but there's something called shlamim that does the same thing as the oila, and you don't burn it completely. So between the combination of an oila and a shlamim, I should learn the asham. Says the Gemara, no. You can't learn from shlamim anything. Why? Because it has something called nesachim, as tnufa, which we saw. Says the Gemara, but the oila doesn't have that. So the combination of the two, you should learn, bring back asham. So then the Gemara says, loyri zekri zeh. You know what? Shlamim has something special. That what? In the Sachim. Oil has something special, it's burnt. But each one doesn't have what the other one has. But yet, they have something in common. So let's learn the commonality, if there's such a word, and bring that to the Asham. That what? You need to have intent. Says the Gemara, yeah. But there's something that the two of them do have in common, that they're done in Tzibur and Asham not. So I can't learn Asham from them. Then comes my favorite character today, the Toida. He's like, yeah, he's screaming, I love Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. B'kitzur, I do bring in Hashem over there. And then we take him out. Why? Because the Toida is different, because it has something special called Lechem. So now we have, this guy has Lechem, that guy has Nesachim, that guy has Kalil. But what's the common denominator? Tzadashava, that all of them, they don't have it, but the bottom line is they have a common denominator that you have to have intent. And it's not miratza. The point is that it's not miratza. What does miratza mean? It doesn't do a full kapara, you have to bring another animal. Is that the end of that? No, it's not the end. Okay.
Can you explain the difference between miratza and mechaper?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Different levels. Miratza is
Yeah, well, no. It's not, time out. It's not the same exact thing, but the same idea. Mechaper I would use on a chatas, because it comes from a kapara and a avera. Miratza is a similar lashon, but it's like something you use on an oila. It's like discharge your obligation. It's miratza. It gives Hashem is satisfied with it. You bring it, and Hashem is not satisfied with it. You have to bring a second one, and there is a little bit of a kapara, as we're going to see in an oila too. It comes to be mechaper on the mitzvah say that you're over on, not a specific one, just a general one. Okay, so let's see inside. Amar Baya. Whoa, it's late. So let me go back here. I'll just do it. I'll hit these buttons while we are learning. Wow, there's a lot of them. Here we go. I want to learn that Asham is not miratza, that I have to bring another carbon. Asham miratza lemotzis armos. Kavachomer ma'oila. Uma oila she'enim chaperes. The T. Hold on.
Where can I get that hat that lamb is wearing?
We'll after Shir, I'll tell you. Just like an oila, it's not. The oila is not mechaper on an aveira. It is mechaper nasei, but it's not mechaper. It's nevertheless in a maratza. It does very little, and yet it doesn't even accomplish that very little. Asham shemechaper, asham that works really hard. It does much more, so certainly it shouldn't do the whole job. And it didn't change in maratza. Certainly it does not going to accomplish. You're going to have to replace it. So that's why it goes up there. It says Malo oila shekain kalal. No, don't learn asham from oila because oila is kalal. You have to burn the entire animal. So the Gemara says, okay, but then shlamim yichiv, I have something else that you don't burn completely, called shlamim. And it's still not maratza. And learn asham from it that it's not maratza. Mal shlamim shekain tunim nesachim. You bring wine with no chaz v'shaik, and you wave the chaz v'shaik. Oila dachiach, boom, oila knocks that out because oila doesn't have those two yet. It's not maratza. The chazar adin, so it goes in around in a circle. The oila has something special called kolel. And the shlamim has something special called nesachim chaz v'shaik. Each one has a maila. That's the Shabbos. But the bottom line is there's a common denominator between shlamim and oila. Shem kachim, they are korbanos. Ushchatim shalei l'shma and ksherim. And if you shecht it without the right intent, it's kasher ve'emeratim, and it doesn't accomplish. Afani yavi, asham, shu kodesh, ushchatim shalei l'shma, kasher ve'emeratim. So I can learn asham from it. Here, let me bring the asham back up here. That what I learned from the oila and from the shlamim, the two of them together teach us asham is not meratza. I have to bring another carbon. But it's not true. Oh, so that. Now we put in here an meratza. Next step, but they have a tzibur. Toida toichiach. Toida is not a tzibur. Toida, Rabbi is not a tzibur. I love saying this. I'll say it again. Somebody email. I said it yesterday. Somebody sent me an email afterwards because on Goimel he was complaining about Goimel. Fine, but Toida, says Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, is the one thing in Chazor Hashatz that doesn't work for the Chazan to be moitzi you. In other words, the Chazan says everything. Baruch Aleinu, for Parnasi he davens for you, for Choin and Adas, everything he davens for you, and you just say Amen. When it comes to Moedim, thanking Hashem for the good that He's done for us, that He can't be moitzi you. Everybody has to say Moedim by yourself. So perhaps maybe that's what the Gemara is saying over here, that Taida doesn't work in a tzibur. Taida, say thanks Hashem for saving him from a disease or from an airplane crash, from going over the ocean, whatever it is, coming out of jail. It doesn't work in public. Okay? So Taida comes, and therefore, if all three of these things, they're korbanos, and you have to have the right lishma, and if you don't have the shma, you bring it anyways, but it's not meratza, meaning you have to bring another one, so too Asham should be in that category. Daf Amud Beis. Mala Toida shkein tu'una lechem. Check this out. You have to bring the 40 breads. Mala Toida shkein tu'una lechem. 40 breads, the famous 40 breads. We'll say it again and again. Why does the Toida have to bring 40 breads? They say because you have to share. Nobody can eat 40 breads. Even a bread monster like myself. I'm a meshugana bread guy. All I need to do is cut out bread and I drop weight. Nobody can eat 40 breads, so you have to bring your friends. And when you bring your friends, you mefarsim. How do you say mefarsim in English? You publicize. You publicize the nace that happened to you. Your friends come. Why do you bring a taida? Oh, you don't know. I was in an accident at a chas v'shalom, and this is what happened. What?
One last day for the same reason.
Yeah, exactly. One less day. Says Gemara, Oilu Shlomo Yechichu, but Oila and Shlomo prove they don't have the 40 breads. So each one has a maila. Toida has the breads. The Shlomo has the sachim. Oila has the fire. But bottom line is, what's the common denominator? Remember in yeshiva, this was like this is a disaster. The sugya. That's how the Shabbos b'hem sugya. You remember that? Anybody remember that? Nobody has trauma from it. No, okay. You don't have trauma b'chlal. That's how the Shabbos b'hem shem kachim. Ushchadim shalei l'shman kasher v'enim ratza. Afani avi yasham shu kodesh. The bottom line is you shechted without the shema. it's kosher, you keep on going, nothing happened, you keep on moving forward. Ve'ena meratza. Like Avi said, Hirius was about the Sanhedrin making a mistake. And what happens when they make a mistake? You bring carbon, you go weiter. Over here, the Kayan makes a mistake. He messes up. He's thinking about the wrong thing. The bottom line is we go weiter. We move on. We leave the trauma behind. We all have trauma, Baruch Hashem. We all have trauma. But you got to learn how to go weiter. Not sacrifice. You deal with it, you power through, and you go weiter. Let's just do this one line. Asham doesn't come as a gift to Hashem. It comes because you have to bring it because you messed up. You did an aver. You swore falsely when you stole something. Hashem shivich harufa, Hashem gzelas, Hashem mi'ilois. Whatever it is, it's for using something in the Beis Hamikdash. You messed up. All these other ones, shlamim, this oila, is all voluntarily. Sponsor, we'll do the sponsor. Smack in the middle of the sugya. Turning to the Daf. Adar Global Specialist in International Financial Services. Anonymous. L'zech nishmas Reb Chaim ben Reb Elazar Ashkenazi. Anonymous. In gratitude to Rebbe and MDY for promoting Achdus Yisrael and Ahavas Yisrael. Elo Amarova. Oh, typical Zevachim. Zois HaTorah. We come up with Gzeres HaKasuv. This is a pasuk. Hekisha HaKasuv Shlomim. What's Zois HaTorah? Raboisai. I'm not going to show you the video again. The Kokeli pasuk. That all the karbanos are mentioned, and they're all similar to the shlamim. Mekisha HaKasuv Shlamim. And Mashlamim shein kachim u'shchodesh l'shmon ksherim ve'emiratzim. Just like shlamim is a karban. And if you do shchita without the right intent, you think about Shimon instead of Reuven. Ksherim, it's kosher. You can continue. Weiter ve'emiratzim. You have to bring another one. Yes, you go weiter in life. You got to deal with the past. Sometimes you still got to bring another, but you go weiter. Says the Gemara, okay, but look at this. If we look at this picture, what do you see in this picture? Chatas is on the right, Shlomim is in the left. By the way, I don't know if you noticed. Look at this little guy right over here, Miluim. Why did you decide that all the karbanos should be similar to the one on the left? Maybe it should be the one on the right. And what does the Mishnah say about the one on the right? If you mess up on a chatas, what do? Throw it into the garbage. In other words, burn it. Who told you to say that all karbanos is like a shlamim? My chatas is actually the shlamim, magish the chatas. Says the Gemara, Amir Rachman Oisa. You're right, great question, but it's Gzeres HaKasuv. We had in the pasuk over there by chatas, v'shachad Oisa. Only it is something you throw in the garbage. Only chatas you throw in the garbage, not asham, shlamim, taida, all the miluim and all the other things. Yosef, Rav Huna, Rav Nachman, another one of them sitting around, talking and learning. Yosef, Rav Huna, Rav Nachman, Yosef, Rav Shishis, Gabayu, V'yasvi Kamri, Kashli, Rosh Lakish Asham. Rosh Lakish Amud Aleph asked the question, I don't understand. The asham, the lo Yosef, Lachar Misa, since asham doesn't come after the death of the owner, so over here, if the Kaya messes up and thinks that it's for Shimon instead of Reuven, why do you continue bringing it? And what was the answer? Anybody remember the answer? There's a kasav, Moises Fosecha, we have psukim. Ask the Gemara, Leimen Lei Rebbe Lazar, Asham Nami also Lachar Misa. Asham does come Lachar Misa. Why? It's Rabbi Sai. We should remember these two musagim. We're going to have it a lot through Kachim. We learned about Chatos Shemesu Balel. What happens? Chatos Mesa. The Chatos dies. There's another concept called Yire Achi Yistoiv. You're going to watch this video, you'll never forget it for the rest of your life. Yire Achi Yistoiv means you give it to a shepherd to graze until it befalls a mum. We're going to show you how that happens. It's unbelievable. How does it happen? You've seen it here first. If you have an asham, ask the Gemara, there is a way. And I'll tell you what happens. After it befalls a mum, you sell it, you redeem it, and what do you do with the money? You buy an oila. And what do you do with the oila? You put it on the mizbech for dessert. Just to give you a heads up, I'll just explain the video. I was on Turkish Airlines once upon a time, and in business class, and they gave me my kosher meal, which consisted of frozen gefilte fish and a matzah. And they're walking around with the steaks and the ribs and the whole thing. And afterwards, they came with this push cart You know those fancy things people have in their house now? They sell, bar parkers have that. You bring out the soup on Shabbos in this beautiful cart that costs $7,000. You know what I'm talking about with the gold? They have one of those. 4 shelves. I told this to Yoshi. I said, this is what we got. It came with the top, ice cream, all types of flavors. This, cookies, cakes, fruit. That was, sir, I told you I only eat kosher, but you sure you don't want some? Like in your face. Weiter. Okay, so that's why at the end of this video you'll see that cart. In other words, the oila goes on the mizbeach for dessert. It's called keit hamizbeach, dessert. When there's nothing going on the mizbeach, we don't want the mizbeach to be with nothing. Give it a dessert. Here goes the video.
מדע שלום יונת.
Kevisland Park, Yirachi stove. Over here, they're mumchim getting mumim for the animals. And there's a whole line of people that get a pidyon and a cola, it says over there. You show that you have a mum. Now what do? You redeem it for an oila. You take the money, you sell that, and then you put it on the mizbeach. That's Yirachi stove. We're going to have this many, many times. So ask the Gemara, this asham, at the end of the day, the asham is brought as a oila. It does go on there is, if the owner dies, like Nebuch, that guy, Imei Sharm, you do something with the money. So says the Gemara, does come after the death of the owner. How? In a form of an oila. It comes for something else. The money goes for an oila. The original asham does not go on the mizbeach. Okay, very good. You didn't accomplish anything, because if you want to go that route, there's a case of a chatos when somebody designated 2 animals for 1 chatos, and he brought 1. Now what do you do with the other one? You same thing. Goes to the Yirachi stuff park, wait for it to do a flip and fall on its head, and then you can redeem it. But chatos also have that. And if the owner died in between, you can. Usually, if owner dies by a chatos, you don't do anything with it. But in this case, when he brought 2, even a chatos, you could send it to the Yirachi stuff park and get an oila for it. So memela, that doesn't count. Says the Gemara, chatos avagav de karva meisara miyad rachmanahu. Chatos, you're right. Okay, good. You could bring it. You could do Yirachi stuff. Miyad rachmanahu. Another pasuk, rabbis. Here we go. Here's the pasuk. Chatos who? Okay, there's a miyut that if it wasn't l'shma, get rid of it. Says Gemara, Asham Namik Sibehu. Here it says Meforish, Asham who? Same who? Says Gemara, Murim. Very good. When are we saying that there's a ritzui, there's a kapara? Let's think about it. When's the top time in the 4 avodos that the guy gets a kapara? By the zrika. When he sprinkles the blood on the mizbeach, he gets the kapara. This pasuk of Asham Hu is after that. It's too late. You already got a kapara. If you already got a kapara, you can't go retroactive and say you got to get a new kapara. You already did zrika. We're talking about imurim, putting the meat onto the mizbeach. That's later. That's called imurim. That's something else. That's when the Torah says Asham Hu. So Asham Hu cannot be an exclusion that it doesn't work. It worked already. It's too late. It says Mefurish in the Braysa, since the Asham doesn't have who, the word who came after you already put the animal parts on the mizbeach. But the animal itself, let's say the kohen forgot to put the meat on top of the mizbeach, kosher. It's completely kosher. So why do I need the word who? Why do I need this Asham who? What do I learn from the who? Beautiful thing. I just want you to chop for a second here. Gershon, do me a favor. Go flip to the... Can't do it? Okay. Fine. When we saw that this animal, first the owner dies, then we bring this animal to what? To the Yirachi Stav park. Let me ask you something. What happens when the animal goes into the park? Is he a asham or an oila? The answer is he flips into a oila, even before his injury. Before the injury. No, not a mum over. Real mum. Mum that you can't.
We never get to mum.
Doesn't matter. It was we removed. It has a din. It has a halacha pre. And memelo, because once you give him over to graze and to get a mum, his asham left him, and memelo he automatically becomes a oila. And here's the chiddush: if what?
He'll never be brought as an olam.
He himself not. His value. Yes. No. Time out. No. What you just said is not accurate. You go and a guy goes in there to this Yirachi Stav park and grabs him before he gets the mum and shechts him. He turns. He's a noila. That's what it says right over here. Watch. Nituk. It says. Asham shenitak l'riya. You put the asham aside that it should go graze and get a befallen mum. Ushchati stam, and somebody came over there and shechted it. Reb David. Stop. Kosher. It becomes kosher for what? For an oila. And we learn nitakin only if you put him through that door into the park. Lo nitak loy, but you didn't do it yet. Not. My time on makro. Who? Baviyasi. Yes. So this is what we learn from this pasuk, that once he's a oila, not a asham, then even if you shecht it without any kavana, it's a shchita of a oila. But it has to be that you put him into that park. If he's before going into the park, it remains asham and it's not a oila. Rabbi Sai, have a 1 second. Motzi Shabbos in English, 9:30. Check out the new time, 9:30. Hebrew 10:30. Have a wonderful day. A good Erev Shabbos.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.